The season of Mardi Gras is really basically a big blowout before one of the more sacrificial moments on the calendar, the Christian calendar, which is Lent and Ash Wednesday. And it is an honor to talk to New Orleans Archbishop Gregory Aymond. Archbishop, welcome.
Thank you very much, Scoot. I appreciate the opportunity to be with you.
I find it interesting that there is this huge blowout, like right before Lent. Now, I'm assuming the church doesn't suggest that you just do anything on Mardi Gras Day, and then you're going to go through this sacrificial time of Lent. I mean, you still have to be a good person, right?
That's right. Yeah, morality is to be included.
Yeah.
And Benedict would say all things in moderation.
Not everybody gets that message here.
I know, because it's called Fat Tuesday. And as you say, it's this big blowout.
Yeah. So let's talk about Lent. So it's basically 40 days of making a sacrifice. And there are people who will give up some, like a substance. They'll give up beer or drinking, or they'll give up candy or sweets or whatever. But also associated with Lent is the idea that you give up something that you want to carry with you beyond Lent.
That's correct. Yeah. I always say that Lent is, first of all, an opportunity for us to look honestly at ourselves and to see our goodness as we are before God, but also to look at ourselves and to see our weakness. What is God asking me to do? What attitude or what action is God asking me to change? And I suggest that we not look at 5 or 6 things. I think one is enough for Lent. What specific attitude or action is God asking me to change? Once I know that, then I have the opportunity to pick a penance that has something to do with it. And that's why there's nothing wrong with giving up candy, giving up drinks or whatever. But ideally, the penance should be directly connected to the attitude or action that we're trying to correct.
Archbishop, I've always wanted to, ask you this because I still find it kind of ironic that, here in the New Orleans area and in Louisiana, we don't eat meat on Fridays, but boy, we sure make the sacrifice by eating crawfish.
Exactly. Well, I always say that for us, not eating meat on Friday is really no sacrifice.
No, it's not. Is there something else we should do?
Yes, definitely so. For example, if I find that there's an attitude within me that I talk about other people or I gossip, a Lenten penance would be to make a commitment not to do that, and then at the end of the day to say, did I live up to that commitment? To me, that's or if it's if I'm not deliberately honest with people, to say, okay, how can I become more honest? I will do this and this and this to become more honest. And at the end of the day, to say, okay, Lord, did I actually do it? So it really is an opportunity to look at what needs to be changed, not the action or the words, but what's in my heart that allows me to say and to do and to have some attitudes that I should not. Once I know that, then I pick a penance, which is directly related.
How will the pandemic affect giving out the ashes on Ash Wednesday?
It will a lot because, as you know, our usual way is to take the ashes and then with the thumb of the priest to say, repent and believe in the gospel. Well, we are not to touch people in that same way. So what we are suggesting is that to return to the old medieval way, which is something they still do in many European countries, they take the ashes and place them on top of the head of the person and use the same words. Another way that we are suggesting is the possibility of using a Q-tip and putting it in the ashes and then using the Q-tip to make the sign of the cross. So therefore there's no actual human contact. There's a third way that we can ask each person to sanitize their forehead with a wipe. And then the priest can touch the forehead because each forehead would be sanitized. And so then the priest could use the ashes and then put them on the person.
Well, for example, when I go Ash Wednesday, if I do decide to sanitize my forehead, how would the priest know? Would I tell him?
No, we are given 3 options, Scoot, and we're asking the priest to make a decision which 3 options. So you might go to one church and they would be giving out ashes within the hair. Another could be doing the Q-tip, another could be doing the sanitizer. If they are using the sanitizer, they will have to provide the sanitizers in order to do so. So it's really going to be up to each parish because many parishes see this differently.
I always feel like such a good person when I get the ashes on my forehead and walk around after getting that done on Ash Wednesday. So let's talk about something that I know is maybe a question that other people have, but where do the ashes come from?
The ashes come from the palms that we use on Palm Sunday. On Palm Sunday, we use palms. We hold them as they did in the time of Jesus, as they put palms down and the donkey that Jesus was riding walked on the palms, and as a path for him. So we take those palms, we burn them, and then they become the ashes for Ash Wednesday.
And there's never a problem with fire ban restrictions or anything?
No, some parishes do them themselves, and then there's some church supply companies who actually do it also with the palms, and you can receive them through the church supply companies.
I go to church every Sunday, and I found it, to be fine. Everybody wears a mask. People are separated. Every other pew is blocked off. I'm a germaphobe, so I got to tell you that I'm kind of embracing some of this stuff, some of this social distancing stuff.
I think it's hard, and I think people, as you say, Scoot, it's difficult, but people are getting tired of it too, which means it's important that we don't let our guard down, that we do the social distancing, we do the masks.
Since churches are not full all the time, do you find that there are fewer people going to mass now during the pandemic, or you're still close to the same amount?
It depends on the parish. Some parishes have increased significantly the number of masses that they have. And so it could be the same number. Others, right now, except in New Orleans, you can have 75% occupancy. That's quite a bit. And because of social distancing. So I would say in general, most of our parishes are saying that they have a good number in their congregation. It seems to be increasing. That's true even at the cathedral. It seems to be increasing a little bit more, but we're very careful that we follow the governor's directions and the mayor's directions. So it's down, but I would want it down actually, because we don't want people who are elderly or have underlying conditions to come to Mass. And that's why almost every parish in our archdiocese right now is doing live streaming. And so a person can participate in the Mass at home, not receive communion, but nevertheless, they can participate in Mass at home.
Archbishop Gregory Aymond, it is an honor to talk to you, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Scoot. It's always a pleasure to see you.